Hey guys, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you all. Tonight's topic is going to be the healing energies of trees. Please feel free to chime in with your comments or your questions. I will be watching the comments over here for any kind of questions. Hey to Elisa, Jen, Patty, Melissa, and Sheila over here on Facebook. I wanted to address, and hey to Kendra over here on Instagram, I wanted to address why I do the live streams. Why am I doing the live streams every Monday night, and why do I have the YouTube channel? Well, it's pretty easy. I'm really comfortable in front of the camera. I did broadcast journalism in my 20s and worked for a television station, and I did the weather on that station, and I got used to broadcasting, and I really missed it later on in life after my nursing career was over and I started into this. Wanted to bring that element back into my life a little bit. I love communicating with everybody and giving all this information. There's just so much that I try to cover in readings with people that like 60 minutes is not enough when people have specific questions about situations in life or paranormal topics. So what I'm doing with the live streams is we cover a lot of subjects. And so I save the live streams, I edit them, and then I put them on my YouTube channel. And it's under, the YouTube channel is under Kathryn Kauffman, Psychic Medium, and the playlist is Monday Night Live in Lexington. So all you have to do to watch a past show is go to that playlist and just browse through them and see what topics really interest you. And the reason why is when a person has a lot of questions and we're in a session, I don't have but 60 minutes to do the whole reading and explain everything. And then if there are further questions, what I can do is give them a link to the video to watch and understand the teaching and all the information on whatever it is that they're interested in or concerned about. So it's a way of banking all this information for people for future reference, and that way they don't go home with questions, they go home with a link where they can get the information that they need. So Ina says, cannot wait to hear about trees. My favorites are evergreens. Mine too. Melissa Begley, love you and trees. Thank you. Special shout out to Melissa. Kisses to you and Miss Cleo. Hey to Marcia, Sheila, and George McKinney. Hey guy, Veronica, and Rolando. Thanks for joining. So now we all know why I'm doing these crazy shows with all these wild topics on it. Remember, sharing is caring. Go ahead and hit the share button on your screen and share this now out in the newsfeed. I would appreciate that so very much. It does help me. Also, if you decide to go to the YouTube channel, I will leave a link in the comment section, and that way you can hit that link and go and subscribe to the channel, and that way you won't miss out on any future shows. Now, I have to do a medical disclaimer because you should not just use trees for your soul healing. If you're sick, go to a doctor, please. This should only be used as an adjunct to whatever treatments and medications that your physician has prescribed for you. So we have to do that and get that out of the way before we can continue on. Trees are part of the plant kingdom. We have the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and then there are a lot of other kingdoms that I can't pronounce. I'm not going to try to get into it. So there's the protists, fungi, archaeobacteria, and eubacteria. So those are all, like, these are the 6 kingdoms: plants, animals, protists, fungi, archaeobacteria, and eubacteria. So don't ask me what they all are. I just know that plants are part of the multicellular kingdom and consist of complex cells. There's going to be some surprising things I want to share with you about trees and plants. Now, and it was very interesting when I did the research on this, because most plants and most trees have tens of thousands more genes than humans. So what that means is they are actually ahead of us or leading us in evolution. Surprise, surprise. They have more genes than we do as human beings. Are you surprised by this? I'm not really, because in part of my research, I found that a certain type of tree, and a lot of trees for that matter, they also lead us in age. I think the oldest known living tree is King's Holly. It's located in a place in Tasmania that is secluded and private, because this one cluster of trees is said to be believed as old as 43,000 years old. Now, this type of tree, this specific type of tree, they're trying to save because it's the last cluster that remains, and it is the most ancient tree on the planet. What it does, it doesn't reproduce as normal plants do, and I wouldn't expect it to be that old. It only reproduces vegetatively, which means a new plant can only grow when a branch falls and develops its own roots, establishing a separate but genetically identical plant. So they are having trouble trying to propagate this. Let me see here. I have someone that we need to delete and block. Sorry about that, guys. It does happen. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So I try to watch the news feed and make sure that those type of people don't get on there with some questionable comments. Okay, so we know that trees are leading us in evolution. We know that a lot of trees are so much older than us as humans. And so I think that the energy of the trees has to be, it feels like to me, a little wiser than what our short lives will allow us to accumulate. Hey to Ian and Samantha and Tony and Jennifer and Lana, thanks for joining in. Shout out to Chantel. Hey, and hey to Kathy. So some things that plants do, or specifically trees, and there was a specific group of trees in South Africa, the acacia trees. They actually changed their chemical makeup during a time of drought and overgrazing. There were some antelope that were overgrazing these acacia trees. And so the trees actually changed their chemical makeup to increase the tannins, killing the animals that were overgrazing on the tree. Not only that, but they also produced an ethylene gas to spread this chemical communication to other acacia trees in the area to increase their tannins, as well as a collective self-protective mechanism, which I found absolutely fascinating. So they're more evolved, they are older than us, and they have complex communication in between their groups. Now, there's the latest theories and research, and this is called root brain theory, is that the trees' central nervous system is actually the roots. There's an area right behind the root tip that acts as a rudimentary nervous system type of thing for the plant or for the tree. And this is called root brain theory. If any of you guys want to look that up and study it a little bit longer, there is a link I will leave in the comments section. It's called the Wood Wide Web, and it gives a lot of teaching on this type of theory if you want to go and look at the scientific stuff behind it. So These trees have an enormous energy behind them. Plato and Aristotle did their best thinking in olive groves. Buddha found enlightenment under a tree. Isaac Newton realized the theory of gravity when the apple fell from the tree. There's a lot of pharmaceuticals that come from trees: aspirin, Taxol, ginkgo biloba, tea tree oil. Those are all things that come from trees. Cinchona tree bark also contains quinine, which is the basis of a lot of anti-malarial drugs. Picogonol also protects from DVTs. So anybody who's had a deep vein thrombosis, this type of medication is made from the pine tree bark. So trees are instrumental in giving us a lot of pharmaceuticals that we have in use today. So I found that was, very, very interesting. They did some research in the University of Illinois and found that large housing developments comprising 28 tower blocks, and they found those residents who lived with trees nearby socialized with their neighbors more, felt more safe, and suffered 52% less crime than those who did not live near trees. These people felt emotionally and physically healthier than those with the blocks that were treeless. So Tony says trees are amazing. Yes. Hey to Kyla and Samantha, I believe trees are our livelihood. So trees are our livelihood, but they are also our lifeline. They feed off of sunlight, carbon monoxide, and water and nutrients. And we feed off of water, sunlight, plants, animals, and oxygen. So our excrement or our carbon monoxide feeds the trees, and in turn, they feed us the oxygen. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And the more trees that we destroy, the more that we're cutting off our oxygen, which I think is more important than global warming to me. We are reducing our supply of oxygen every single day when we cut trees down. Also, on that study that was done at the University of Illinois, when people were on a forest stroll, the beneficial effects were lowered blood pressure, lowered heart rate, and they also experienced a lower level of cortisol in the blood. So the stress hormone was lowered in those people who took a forest stroll, which was very interesting too. So there's a new field of psychology called eco-psychology, and this is based on the notion that our disconnection from nature, our disconnection from trees, is a central factor in the emotional discourse of the world today. Well, I'm not surprised, because the trees resonate at Schumann resonance, which is 7.45 on the Hertz scale, and that is identical to alpha wave state of your brain, which is a relaxed, light, meditative brainwave. And when you entrain to that, it produces a calming, soothing effect that reduces the blood pressure, that allows release of hormones into the body that are very beneficial. Now, before I quit doing hands-on work, I did do a type of healing. It was called nature resonance healing. And so what I did was I incorporated gemstones along with tree branches and also flowers to assist the person in reacclimating their body to a proper resonant state that was beneficial for healing. So I called this nature resonance healing. Now that I'm older, I don't do any hands-on healing now, but there are complementary therapists now that have come out that are doing tree spirit healing. And I can leave a link in the comments if you're interested in this. And so what this particular practitioner does, and her name is Annie Day, is she uses leaves, twigs, barks, and cones on or near the body, and she uses a combination of tree essences as well, and she does a hands-on healing with using all of these energies together. Another thing that people are doing, and doctors are embracing this over in the United Kingdom, in Camden, North London, and Doncaster, they're referring patients suffering from stress and depression and anxiety to what they're calling green gyms. And this is where people can get involved in conservation projects, and it's really proving to be very, very beneficial for them to be doing their exercise in the fresh air in a woodland surrounding, and it does have a calming effect on those, and they're finding that it is calming more so than recovery in a gym, which I found was extremely beneficial as well. Hey to Connie, Marta, Paige, Michelle, Teresa, and Bob. And let's see, Kyla says, I live among the trees, pines, and poplar mostly, which you'll be interested, Kyla, because we're going to go into what trees are good for what type of healing. Melissa Begley is interested in tree spirits and healing. Absolutely. So it is commonly thought that each tree has an indwelling spirit. Not all trees, I feel, have tree spirits. I do feel like the older ones, the ones you can kind of pick out that have an extra energy, I feel like those have a tree spirit. These are nature spirits that dwell within the aura of the tree. They keep the tree healthy. It's a symbiotic relationship between the tree and the nature spirit, and they do have a beneficial effect as well in healing for a person if they're willing to do that. So let's talk about how to connect with the tree, or what you should do to get this healing effect. Now, the healing effect that comes from the tree, I feel like it is a type of wisdom and a resonant state. Trees are self-healing, so they have the capability, if they're cut or broken, to try and self-heal. And I think it's that energy that helps a person heal if you're asking for help from this tree. Also, they're much older, they're much wiser than us, and they're much more evolved, and that's been proven. So I feel like those energies are beneficial as well in the healing process. Not only that, but when you come in contact with a tree and you're asking for help and you're really open to it, what happens is you actually entrain to, or you synchronize with the tree's energy, and then it imparts a beneficial effect for you. So this is done through entrainment and synchronization. So let's talk about how you're going to connect with the tree. So the first thing is for you to move through the woods with open awareness, okay? You're going to take a big deep breath and go within and become aware of the collective energy around you that's surrounding you. You don't want to just get stressed out and try to pick a tree. Let that tree become aware to you. So what you're going to do is just become collectively aware of everything, and then see if one tree stands out from the rest. Does it glow brighter than the rest of them? Does it have a vibration that is coming out at you? Or does it just visually stand out to you in some way? But so you're going to connect with that energetically. Once you've determined which particular tree that you're drawn to, you're going to walk up to it and place your hand on the tree and send an energy of greeting to that tree. Be aware of any energetic reciprocation that you might feel from the tree, and any sensations that you might receive at that time. It may be a vibration, maybe an odor, a smell, it may be a visual stimulation or a flash of insight. You just never know what's going to be imparted to you from the tree. So the information that you receive from the tree is going to be in different forms. You may hear an actual heartbeat coming from the tree. You may also hear distant voices. That could be the tree spirit. You may hear rustling or wind coming from the tree. And hearing this information is most likely representative of that resonant energy coming from the tree. You may receive it in a certain area of the body. You need to pay attention to that because it could allude to problems in that area that you might be having. It may draw attention to areas that need your attention for healing. So touch is important with the tree. When you come into contact with the tree, it transfers that healing energy to the body, mind, and spirit. You do need to ask for help from the tree to do that. So this is all being done through resonant energy coming from the tree, and you need to be in an open, receptive state. It is helpful if you do practice meditation. This will help open you to that flow of energy that comes from the tree itself. For the best healing possible, it's best if you place your back against the tree trunk. That way the nervous system is in direct contact with the resident energy of the tree itself. So putting your back to the tree. And that way too, you're not distracted with visual input from the tree. You can close your eyes and put your back up against the tree, and you're more apt to open your sensation to whatever is happening between the interaction between you and the tree. So Ina says, was fortunate enough to visit a redwood forest in August, one of the most peaceful places on earth. And those trees are how old? They're so ancient. Melissa says, my neighbor overheard me talking to my trees. And the vibration from your voice, Melissa, and talking to the trees is so powerful and so phenomenal. Now let's talk about, let's say you can't get out in a forest and there's not a lot of trees in your area, or you can't bend down and sit with your back to a tree. You can stand with your back to the tree, but if you just can't get out in nature, there are a couple of things that you can do. There are tree essences that you can do to connect with the energy of the trees, and we're going to go into what essences are used for what in just a few minutes. I'll have to rush through those because we're almost out of time. But the best place I found for tree essences is woodlandessence.com. They have a really good selection of tree essences and other natural products, but tree essences are one of the best things to use if you're in a hurry, you don't have time to go out and do meditation and connect with the tree. Try a tree essence, or you can use it as an adjunct. Say you're going to go once a week and connect with the trees for healing. You can use a tree essence in the meantime when you're not able to go, to augment this. There are also essential oils that can be energized to use for healing. There are pine essential oil, willow essential oil, juniper berry essential oils. So they're in fir and birch essential oils, and you can charge these as you need. What you want to do is put it in a carrier oil of your choice and then place the drop on the pulse points and use it as that to connect with this tree energy. Hey to Pamela, Darby, and Monica, and Christine, and Laura. Thanks for joining. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Okay, so let's start into the qualities of the particular trees. So birch, let's take birch for example. The qualities of birch are gentleness, reconciliation. So the birch is often, or birch essences and birch wood is often used for people who've gone through a lot of traumatic events or a lot of shock, because it provides a gentle, a reconciliatory energy that calms things down. So any traumatic situation that you've been through, maybe a change in life, a surgery or accident, birch would be one of those essences or one of those trees that you would use to remove that shock and make you more accepting and reconciled to what happened. The next tree we're going to deal with is beech, and the qualities of beech are serenity and confidence. And so the main message of that tree is self-assurance and thinking surely and serenely about being confident to express yourself and not being swayed by emotions. So the self-confidence is treating the physiological effects of fear, changing the attitude and overcoming timidity, and strengthening many weaknesses that are found in the body. So beech is a great one to use. The next tree is fir tree. And so the qualities of the fir tree are fluidity. So any blockages, any circulatory problems, processes in the body that may be blocked, this opening and this fluidity of fir tree's energy smooths the flow of energy in the body. So this can also be used to unblock feelings, and like if parts of your body are energetically frozen up and blocked, this would help unblock those as well. The next tree is pine, and the pine's qualities are light and vitality. And so this you would use for people who are suffering from fatigue or weakness or failure to thrive, sluggish organ function, and depression. And what the pine does is it reestablishes a vitality and connection with life and maintains the renewed energy and awakening. So it also helps you to see things more clearly, which that's always beneficial, right? So the next tree we're going to go through, hey to Krista Crow and Cherry Ramsey. Thanks for joining us. And hey to John and Fjorn Woods over here on Instagram. Hawthorn trees qualities are alignment and being centered. So you would use this for somebody whose head is in the clouds and they're not very grounded, they're not very centered, for someone who feels pulled in all different directions. So what this does is it gathers your thoughts and focuses them on how to express yourself and not be frightened, and it really centers yourself in making decisions, which is very good. Now, there are a few plants that are included in the tree essences that are not really trees, but I'm going to go ahead and go over those because they're really classically used, and the information might be beneficial to you. Melissa has a question. Do the tree spirits remain in furniture, etc.? It depends, Melissa, if they're very, very bound to that tree and they've been with that tree for, let's say, over 100 years. They will not, those tree spirits will not be comfortable to move to a different tree. It's sort of like, you know, a long-term marriage and you know your partner's going to die and you have the option of dying with it or, you know, separating and going to a different area. It depends on the bond between that tree spirit and its tree. You know, does it still have a function that's pertinent to going to another tree and, you know, remaining in this energy? Or is its function done and it's so connected to that particular tree that it's okay with not continuing on? So, you know, I have seen the wood does carry a tree spirit on, and the tree spirit does stay with the wood even if it's severed from the tree. Some don't, though. Some actually will relocate to a different tree. So it just depends on the relationship between the tree and the tree spirit. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the next few are not classically trees, but they're used, the essences are used in with the tree essences. Wild rose is something that's used in this essential essences treatment, and this opens the energy up, being open to ourselves. The love needs, that if you have love but it needs to go past you and open to other people, this wild rose is what you would use in those essences. It really relieves a lot of tension, especially in the jaw, head, and neck area, and it opens these areas up to healing. So Chantel says, I have always loved how people smile and are happy when they get in a room that has real live Christmas tree. And the smell, Chantel, is just, there's no other energy like it. All humans seem to feel better when trees are close by. We do, and we need to recognize that. And I'll give you something on this. So if you want to work with a tree, the best way to honor the tree, since it's stationary, it cannot pollinate itself. It depends on, animals to pollinate and to spread seeds and stuff like that. If you can't pollinate a tree, I think the best way to connect with that energy, if you have a favorite tree you're working with, is to plant another tree, not too close now, because we don't want a competitor, but to plant a tree and contribute to the kingdom of the plants and to the oxygen level that we use on a daily basis. So the next tree or thing that we're going to go over essence-wise is box or boxwood. And this kind of lends continuity and liberation. So if you have blockages, wounds of the heart, if you're trouble and you have like deep-seated fears or deep-seated traumas or blockages, box is the essence that you would use to open these things up to opening your higher self and releasing the blockages and freeing the mental body. And there's only just a couple more. We'll just keep going because this is really important. The walnut tree, what it does is it creates autonomy and it imparts a feeling of responsibility. So it helps you distinguish between your illusions and your reality, and the courage to express what you've chosen, and it encourages you to take on that responsibility and take charge of your feelings. So that's the things that a walnut tree imparts on you, the energies. And the last one is broom. And the healing qualities of broom are renewal and rebirth. And what this does is it helps us integrate challenges and changes. So if you've had an emotional shock and you're in the middle of allowing new energies to flow in, broom is a really good one to support you after a period of time following a huge change or following the death of someone who's very close to you. So it facilitates the release of energy, and it also frees up as well the energy of the person who's passed on as well. So there we go. That's the healing energies of trees, which is phenomenal. And I'm so glad that you guys joined me for this tonight. Now, I had a couple of people mention to me that they missed the fact that me and David weren't doing What's for Dinner, David. But the reason why that happened was I used to have my studio upstairs right next to the kitchen. So it was very easy for me to holler out to him. But I moved the studio downstairs and he's upstairs cooking. So I didn't get to holler out at him anymore. So what's for dinner, David?
Hey!
Hey, what are we having?
Well, we're not cooking tonight. Let me tell you that, number one. I've got some bread toasted with some sofrito on it and some cheese I can't pronounce cut up. It's mild and delicious and goes very well with the star, the Iberico ham that
I
Kathryn
did
bought.
it. I ordered some Iberico ham because you can't find it here. And I
It's because
knew we
it's
would only
not
get to taste
Iberico.
it if I had it specially shipped in.
So she had some shipped in,
Oh my
and we've
God.
already
Yeah,
tasted it.
we had to have a
Best meat I ever
taste.
had in my mouth. Oy,
Well, okay.
oy. And I cut up some apple. I thought apple would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of,
Apple and ham go together really
yeah,
well. Well, thank you, dear.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll sign off so we can go enjoy that little treat and
And wine.
wine. And then next, I have a treat for you guys next week, next Monday. Shifu Karega is going to be back with us. I'll be posting all the stuff on that. So he has got some new information for us that is going to be exciting. Can't wait for that. And then bioluminescence has been moved to October the 8th. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a really interesting show. Don't forget that Fridays are Fun Friday on Facebook. So if you want to see and participate in a free tarot reading or psychic reading, tune in to my Facebook page on Friday morning and we'll get involved with Fun Friday. I'll leave a link to the YouTube channel where you can watch all the other episodes. Kisses from Kentucky, and I will see you next Monday night for another episode of Monday Night Live in Lexington. You guys have a good one. See you later.